The O-line, I want someone on that O-line to go up to them and say, hey, I got you today.
Yeah.
And go out there.
Hello, everyone, and welcome into TexAgs Rewind, presented by Specs in the Rollo Insurance Studio. I'm David Nuno. I got McKinley Polanski there at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. What was your favorite part of the program today?
My favorite part? I liked seeing OB get fired up about it, about talking about football this morning.
Did he get fired up?
Yeah, he was really excited about it.
Who would win in arm wrestling, you or OB?
Him.
You think?
Yes.
I don't. Okay.
Him, for sure. And then I liked talking about the prize picks.
You like the prize picks?
That was interesting to see.
Yeah?
Everyone.
More than, less than?
Yeah.
We had that on the show. We had Olin Buchanan on the show, as she mentioned. We had SEC Mike on the show. Thanks for Billy for coming in for that one. We had Billy Liucci on the program. And of course, like we do every Friday, it's the final countdown with the McKinney Brothers. That and more is the Rewind. Check it. OB. Let's play a little OB matchups, all right? Okay. Let's go through some of these matchups. And you want to start off with A&M, I assume, if Connor's starting?
Yeah, if Connor's starting, you got to put Connor against that Florida pass defense that has been susceptible to giving up a lot of yardage.
Yep.
What I think Miami had 330 plus yards, I think, passing. Something outrageous. 385 passing yards and 2 touchdowns. And in fact, if you go back to last year, here's some of the teams. Missouri 331, LSU 372, Arkansas 255, Georgia 315, South Carolina 313, and Vanderbilt 280 yards passing. So they've been having trouble stopping the pass for quite a while now. Connor, we hope that he plays as well as he did the last time that they played a game in Florida.
Yep.
Down there last year in Miami. 336 yards passing, a couple of touchdowns, had a couple of interceptions because of the weather. And if the weather's bad again, it's something to look at. But this is a Florida pass defense that has had some issues. This is an A&M quarterback, if he's starting and healthy and everything, that has had some big games. So, you gotta capitalize on that.
Yeah.
That's a matchup that should be in your favor.
Yep. What else, Obi?
Well, I talked a lot about the Florida run defense. They've also been having trouble against the run. So once again, you're saying, can A&M control the line of scrimmage? Can they have success running the football? Miami rushed for 144 yards and 2 touchdowns against them. Last season, the Gators surrendered more than 170 rushing yards in 6 of the 8 SEC games.
That many, really?
Yeah, so, now my understanding is their linebackers are pretty solid.
Yep.
But their defensive line has had all kinds of issues. So if you can, again, we saw improvement from the offensive line. See some more of that against the SEC opponent. I think you could see A&M have some success. Look, it's supposed to be kind of wet, kind of damp, kind of cloudy, and still a little bit muggy. Those are perfect conditions
to run the ball.
For moss to have growth. Moss grows in those kind of conditions. So let's
moss.
So let's see moss. Let's see some more growth from moss. Let's see his stats grow.
The players on this team have not gone away from Kyle Field and won, and we have all our reasons. But until they break that streak, but if they do, Mike, they go way up on the list, in my opinion, and not just because of beating Florida. I just think they'll go on a little winning streak, and you'll see Missouri coming in here for a big game. But they got to survive this weekend.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think the same thing about Florida. I mean, it's going to be week in, week out. As pathetic as this to say, but Florida's every game's going to be a must-win for the next 5 weeks. After A&M, they play at Mississippi State. They got no excuse losing that game. They have Central Florida at home. I mean, these are all losable games. Then at Tennessee, I'm sure that looks like a game everybody and their mother is going to be picking Tennessee, but Florida beats Tennessee every year. And then Kentucky at home, which they've not beat 3 years in a row.
Wow.
Before that, they beat them about 35 years in a row. So, I mean, every one of these games I feel like is a must win, and it starts with A&M. I don't have any confidence in either team to win this football game.
I honestly, I would have. If you tell me that Connor's trotting out there healthy enough to go, I would have slight confidence that A&M would win. Not overwhelming. Just based on, I would have in the back of my mind that first game and that performance by him in the passing game. But I think I would also have in my mind what Connor's been throughout his short starting career.
Yeah.
And again, I wouldn't be like, oh, that's a lay down guarantee. He's going to go back and play like he did against Ole Miss and LSU or even Miami. But I would feel better about that happening, and I'd feel better about that Aggie defense. I'd pick A&M, but slightly.
The front seven's got to dominate this football game. Florida does not have a good offensive line. If they can dominate there like they did for a lot of that Notre Dame game, they're going to win this football game. But just the biggest wild card is DJ Lagway. How early, how much do they play him? He potentially raises the ceiling for Florida football, but I think Billy Napier's too dumb to realize that.
Mike, what would it do for you if A&M goes out and does dominate the game? Let's say they win 31-10. In your eyes, is it still week to week with A&M at that point? Or are you then, all right, I've seen something, let's move on?
Yeah, I know. I would start to buy in a little bit, but maybe this is why Coach Elko was trying to pump the brakes on, a preseason ranking and what can we accomplish, what can we do, and all this. So I just need to see it. And you guys are right. I mean, it's not fair to put all this on Elko. It's on the previous coach, most of it. But I'm kind of tired of all the hype. There needs to be some substance there.
Clearly, Connor's been banged up the last couple weeks. I referenced something in a write-up, but it wasn't worth going into because he was going to play. But he was banged up after the Notre Dame game. It happened on the quarterback sneak late in that Notre Dame game. Well, it was early fourth quarter when they scored down there on the goal line. And it cost him a little bit of practice time a week ago. He played against McNeese a quarter and a half. Unfortunately, I think he only took one hard hit. It was on his last play of the game, or the last play he was in there, and a short touchdown pass. I believe that was to Moose.
Yep.
But I don't think that did anything to aggravate. I think it's just an issue of him. I think this thing's lingered a little longer than they thought, and it's costing him practice time. He played last week, so we'll see if he plays this week. But I think because of that, Elko had to put him on the list as questionable. I'm still trying to get acclimated, Mike. I'm sure you are covering the whole league to this injury list thing. You're hearing about something a day or a few hours before, and then boom, it drops. I don't know the rules on what coaches have to do in terms of, is it just if guys don't practice, they've got to go on? I don't know all the specifics.
Seth, your sleeper of the week.
I'm going to go with Hill, right? That's who's coming in, yeah. And so I think that he's got to step it up and be the next guy up, and plus he's going back, right? I think it's going to be a great game for him, and hopefully he lives up to the potential, and that's my sleeper.
Well, I think in that same vein, I'm gonna stick with guys returning back to their home school and pick Scooby Williams. I know he's listed as questionable, but if he can play through it, that he's going to be looking.
It would take a lot. It would have to be a bad injury for him.
Well, they called him out.
Thinking.
Those Florida players.
They called both of them out.
Jaden Hill and Scooby, they told their running back, if you see him on the field, either one of them on the field, run at them because they can't tackle. Mm-hmm. That's what a Florida player said. Look, I don't know as a competitive athlete how you let that crap fly.
No way.
And so you don't, right?
He did kind of say it jokingly, but I think there was a little truth to it. He was laughing when he said it.
Yeah.
But
That's not how it works. You're looking for any kind of slight.
We're going to put it in print on the board.
Shamar James.
We're taking it out of context.
Yes, exactly.
And you know what, Shamar James? If I'm an A&M O lineman,
I'm running at you.
This is what I want this team to be like. I don't want them to, and they're not. I don't want them to be like Shador, Sanders, Shiloh. where they're yapping before the kickoff and it's this false bravado.
Yeah.
I want this team to be more like what I saw from Nebraska last week, which I heard multiple of their players say, like, okay, Travis Hunter talked to me like that. He's talking to a dog. Like, he doesn't know. He's going to find out. And they found out. And they said after the game, by the second quarter, he stopped talking. Like, and another Nebraska player I heard say something similar, like, yeah, it was just, you knew the mindset by hearing them talk. And I want to see, like, a team at Texas A&M where if I'm a Florida player and Shamar James and I say something about Steve McKinney and Seth McKinney, I say something about Jaden Hill and Scooby, right? That's fine. Those two guys need to raise up and play, and Torian York should take that personally, and that whole secondary and that whole that's fine. But I want the O-line. I want someone on that O-line to go up to them and say, "Hey, I got you today."
Yeah.
And go out there and kick the ever-living you-know-what and go after Shamar James. Clean football, but go after him. And that's when you start having a real culture of winning.
I'll
so
tell
I
you
hope
what
something like that's going on in that locker room.
I'll tell you, I saw it against, even in the McNeese game.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there. I love where I sit as an offensive lineman. You watch the end zone copy. But you just see, you're like, I wasn't eyeballing what was happening with these two players, but then out of the corner of my eye, I just see it. And they both dump like safeties or linebackers. I'm like, I love it, man. That's great. I think that's what you need, and you love to see that kind of thing.
All right, Polanski, tell the people what to do.
Like, comment, subscribe, follow.
Yeah, do all that and watch us this weekend on the post-game wrap. We'll see you then.